All set.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the November 14th Norwalk Public Library Board of Trustees meeting. In attendance, we have Sherelle Harris, Janie Williams, Ralph Bloom, Laurel Peterson, Patsy Brescia, and we're going to hear from Linda Bianchi in just a moment. So first, I'd like to get a motion to approve the October 10th meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second, Laurel. Any comments or edits? I have one. In the minutes, for the governance committee, it's under the governance section or the charter revision section. It says the committee was Ralph, Laurel, and Janie, and it's actually Alex, Laurel, and Janie. Alex Knopf. So I know that Alex and Geraldo told me that they couldn't join us tonight. I don't know if Mary hopefully will join us soon. So okay, so anyone here for public comments? Okay, so Sherelle, would you like to introduce our guest?
Yes,
Linda?
I am. So as everyone knows, good evening, everyone, by the way. As everyone knows, we were approved in the capital budget, $20,000 to just kind of spruce up our reading room on the first floor. And so, we've gone through a few people. Linda and I sort of in a roundabout way worked together on Sono. So we kind of stroke of luck that we, it came back full circle. So she and one of her partners sent over links to furniture, which I've shared with you, also with Cindy's crew. So, we've given her some feedback. So she's gonna give us a quick presentation tonight so she can get back to relaxing. And so Linda is with the company Robert H. Lloyd.
That's Lord.
What did I say, Lloyd? Yeah, Lloyd.
Well, that's okay, but yeah. We just say RHL.
Gotcha.
Make it easy. We're located in Manchester, Connecticut. That's where our corporate office is. But we are all over New England. We're a lot of feet on the street. If you want me to start talking a little bit about what we're doing here, I'm happy to, but I didn't want to stop you from what you were saying, Sherelle.
No. You can go ahead and jump in. You're the important person here. So
okay, well, I'm so glad I'm important, but but anyway, no, what in our company, we are if you haven't known of us as the name, we do a lot of school furniture, a lot of library furniture all throughout New England. And then we sometimes, when necessary, go outside of New England, but we have a lot of sales reps. I'm a sales representative. I consider myself a person that's just going to help solve problems. I don't like to be called a sales rep, but we got a lot of stuff to put into places, no matter what the size of the project is. And we have a lot of manufacturers that we do business with that are on contracts, and contracts such as Connecticut State Contract. And I'm primarily talking about Connecticut. We reach out to MHEC when we need to out in Massachusetts, but we also have the CLC contract, Connecticut Library Consortium contract. We belong with the CLA. We have a lot of connections with all of the different groups that are within Connecticut for school and library. We do a lot of private schools as well. They're not on as many contracts as the city and the state would be, but in general, to really for you to understand where I am at Robert Lord is that I am your rep. I handle Fairfield County. I handle New Haven County, Litchfield County, and the Berkshires. Right now, much of the concentration has been between the Fairfield and the Litchfield counties, little projects we're working on. And then we have other reps that are concentrating all over the other parts of New England. So with that being said, we have been around for, gosh, I think we're close to 56, 57 years doing business this way, concentrating on basically the industries that we have enveloped and developed for years. Many other dealerships, furniture dealerships like myself, are corporate dealers, and they strategize in the corporate environment. With schools and libraries, it's a little bit more specialized because there's different seat heights for different children. There's different considerations for ADA. There's a lot of other things that go on behind the scenes that are not corporate. So you can have a furniture dealer that knows a lot about corporate, like a furniture dealer that knows a lot about healthcare. We know a lot about schools. We do a lot with libraries, and we do it all over the state. And you may know a lot of the people that I've dealt with from association and the committees and the groups that people are involved with. So with that being said, I do it all, and I've been doing it for over 40 years. I have a design background, but I am not proficient in all the great technology that has come on board because my concentration has always been selling furniture. And I offer the ideas, I offer concepts, I offer product ideas, and then I try to help pare it down to what your budget is going to be. As much as I can get into that budget with what you want and what you like, I can maybe offer 7 other things that come after day one when we talk. So I put together a grouping of furniture ideas from what Sherelle had mentioned, the space that she sent me, the pictures that I saw of ideas. But it's a start. We have to start somewhere. It's all preliminary. And all of your feedback is so important to me. Not just what she was saying, she wanted to include all of you. And I'm not sure how much you've seen with what I've sent over, but I want to be sure that what I can tackle quickly for you, help minimize your pain and stress on trying to do this. That's my job, and I love to do it. So be that as it may, with all the things that I can offer, we have to start somewhere, and we can start paring it down, taking things out of anything that I've shown. Haven't put together numbers on everything because I think I just need feedback. And it's important to Sherelle and I to know what you guys would like as well.
And you did receive the feedback from Cindy, correct?
She did send me something. It was like she agreed with items. She didn't say, oh, I like option B layout, or I like option C, or the images. She did send me back something that said images that were on page 3, 4, and 5. Well, the images that she was looking at was in pictures I sent to you, Sherelle, that were a week ago or 2 weeks ago proposed. I've added more to it. So what was on page 2 may not be the same thing that's on page 2. It might be on page 4. There's only a few more things that I've added since that time, but it was, I thought, appropriate that you see some other options.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep sending things until somebody says stop, you know. So anyway, so has everybody seen the items I've sent over? Because I don't have any way of showing you on a board or on a screen tonight unless you're looking at the proposals or the pictures that I sent to you.
Right. Can I ask a couple of questions first?
Of course,
Have you been to the actual site to see the environment?
I did.
Okay, because it's fairly blah. And
Well, it happened to be a
Mhm.
week after Sherelle asked me to get involved. I said, oh my gosh, I don't know where to begin, but I need more information. I happened to be in Darien that day, and I said, oh my gosh, I'm so close to you. I called her. I said, can I come
That's
over?
good.
She says, come on over. And I did. So I took a little measurement here and there, and I took some pictures, and we
Okay,
talked
good.
a little bit more.
Okay, so that's very helpful for us to assess what you're, presenting, that you have seen the space and have a sense for it. So that's important. Yeah.
Did you see
And
the
then-
floor? Did you see the floor
No,
plans?
no, I didn't. And I've been involved right now with another company for another project, doing a budget of 120,000, so I've been into this for a while. And so one of the questions I have is, I don't know if there are any plugs in the floor. No,
No.
so it's
Well,
just,
we
so
had
we
that
don't,
discussion, so we were looking at where the plugs are, but we do have the, if needed, because I was talking to some of Cindy's crew, and a lot of them that's what they're looking for, is like the plug so they can plug in their thing. So, we can always, price it out to see how much it costs to put the plugs in the floor, depending on the furniture.
well, that's gonna be a hefty price. If
Right.
it's in the same budget, it really diminishes what we can get in
Oh,
furniture.
no, she and I discussed that, and so we would look to see
Who
what
is
we have
he?
outside.
Neil? Neil? Who?
No, Linda and I discussed that, so it would just depend on what, what furniture we're getting, and then we would just get quotes from Neil from, Elegant Savano. So
Um,
Now,
maybe
excuse me,
something we
is
can
Neil
use outside
electrician?
of the budget, no.
No.
He works with Elegant Savano, who is an electrician,
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
and that's who
Yep.
does most of our electrical work.
Okay. But anyway, that needs to be a discussion for everybody that's not used to doing this, as how that would work and what our needs were, what our desires are for hookups, you know?
so
Now, can I mention one thing with technology and how much it's changed, like overnight?
Right.
And also when I was in Houston, there are, and I don't know if it's going to work in your scenario, but your concern is trying to get people to plug in and play, right? And everybody needs to be near an outlet, or you might have furniture that you can have power built into it. But
Into it, yeah.
again, the cord is only 6 feet long. You can only go so far if you have an outlet in the floor or nearby a wall, and you don't want that cord to be a trip hazard. There are charging stations for batteries that you can actually, and I'm going to say it looks no different than having a Yeti coffee mug that looks, I have a candle on my table, but I'm going to show you as an example. It's no different than having a candle, like a size candle, a little taller, that in that has your USB A and C chargers and power. And it actually is something that you can pick up at a service station that is no different than a small little table that you put the charger on. And if you need it, you walk it over to where you're going to sit or where you're going to work at a surface and you plug it in. And then when you're done, you put it back on that charging station. Some of them are relatively tall, like 3 feet high, and you place 4 or 6 of them on the station. And then you can take it with a handle over to where you're working, if that's something you want to do. But that has to be plugged in to charge.
Okay, but but that sounds like a wonderful option, especially, with where we are with potentially, redoing the whole building, that for a temporary time, this would be a lot more efficient and we'd have more money to spend on furniture than on plugs. And also it's neater looking and more efficient, and people can they could go to the desk and, take them out like a book and have to return them, you can control it that way. Okay, that's
Good.
great information. Thank you. That's
Did
going to help
anybody
us
get
to
a chance
decide
to
what
look-
kind of furniture we can have,
Did anybody get a chance to look at what I sent?
I looked at it, but it was over, I couldn't absorb a lot of it, without
I can pull it
explanation.
up.
So,
yeah, same. I looked at it. I also looked at it and there were a lot of things I liked, but I just,
and you know what our budget is, Linda, right?
Well, yes, and what we put together is not going to say that you could buy everything in those layouts for the
Yeah,
20,000
you're
that you have
aware,
available.
remember, yeah.
We have to start somewhere.
Let
Yeah.
me see if I can pull up.
Yeah, so we have to keep that in mind because that's what we have, from the city and.
Well, and you know what? You have a phase 1 and then you have the opportunity to get some more
Yeah.
money, and then you have a phase 2. You
Yeah.
fill in what is the most important things now, which
Okay.
is why I sent over some photos of furniture. There is the champagne taste, and then there is the different kind of budget that goes with that, or we change it out. We do a couple of pops of color or patterns on certain things. We don't have to do it everywhere. You get to phase 2, you put a different pop or color or comfort look into the layout, and you do that phase 2. But I'm trying to get it so that you like certain products. And I'm not looking at products that were over the top. If you could buy 12 lounge chairs, I'd be very happy. And maybe it's 7 lounge chairs and 2 occasional tables or something to that effect. But I'm very comfortable giving you some numbers in a conversation tonight of where things would
Yeah.
fall, but we
That's
have to
helpful.
narrow things down.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay,
The
good.
question that I have is, I saw the furniture and there are a lot of lovely choices, but I don't have a sense of how it would fit in the space that we have. And so what would be useful would be some sense of like how many pieces would fit in that space and
Well, we
shapes and
sent over layouts. We
Yeah,
sent
so
over layouts.
basically she just wants to see what we like, what sort of style. Then we can put together how much will fit and, you know, and just kind of pare things down. So I don't know.
Cheryl,
if
do you have the drawings that I sent you?
you can't see the screen? I did share screen. Hold on, let me try again.
No,
I
I
can
think
see
I
the
can see the screen.
photos. The
Okay,
Yeah.
photos of the pictures of furniture, but do you see the layouts?
Is that square up on the top? No, what is that?
No.
no, this is what you sent
Right.
me, so.
Well, there was another email that was at the end of last week that shows the layouts, 5 different options
Hold on,
of different designs.
let me see. Hold on.
Linda, by the way, I grew up in Rockville, so Manchester was always our rival for sports and everything else
Oh, my goodness.
a long time ago.
Yeah, and that's the Vernon area.
Yeah.
I lived in Vernon for a couple of years. I was in a condo over there many years ago. Yeah,
Off of 83 or,
right, right.
yeah. Mm.
Sure, if you can see, I'm just gonna hold up a floor plan. Not sure how much you would see on this visual, just because I'm holding it up. Whoops, sorry.
Mhm.
no.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, yeah, probably is. I mean, I could show you one. You could see.
But are these the different styles of furniture or?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But right now it's not specific to any one particular, and one of the drawings shows probably one exact style because of the curved design.
Linda,
other
can I
than that,
see
it's
what you
just to
just
show
held
you-
up? So I can,
What?
I have it. Can you hold up your piece of paper again?
I have 2 pages that look like this. They're different designs, option A, B, C, D, and E.
Okay.
Mhm.
You remember what date you sent it?
Well, the drawing was done on 11/7, so if it was that day or maybe the day after,
Okay, hold on.
and it was to you and probably Cindy, because she was in the conversations we had right around that time frame.
Make sure, hold on, just trying to get the,
So the drawings, while Cheryl's looking for it,
I think I see
the
it. Go ahead.
the drawings are just to show an area to
I see
say,
it.
hey, you've got a space that's 20 feet wide, 40 feet long, and I know you need aisles because the bookcases come up to that sitting area and that new carpeted area. So we got to leave room for aisles and passage to get around. So that takes into consideration what is required for ADA to be at least 44 to 48 inches of an aisle. So my drawings that you're going to see are showing you a rather long and narrow space.
Can you see it now?
No,
Okay, give me one.
we'll see a
I'm not
black
able to
page.
yet. I'm not
Let
able
me
to
stop
yet.
sharing and then I'll share again.
Um,
She's going to get it. I have total faith.
Can
There you go.
okay,
Good job.
Let me make it a little bit, oh, everything keeps getting in the way of me trying to make it bigger.
That's okay. I mean, I think it's fine.
Can you see it? Oh, the
Yeah.
screen.
So basically, there's 5 of these layouts. Right now, you're seeing 3 of the 5.
Here we go. Okay, so Linda, let's just walk through option 1, starting in the back. So 2 different sets of seating here, 2 tables.
When Cheryl, you and I talked about maybe doing a table in that back corner
Mhm.
because there was power on the wall.
Yep.
There's a little black dot on the
black
drawing,
dot,
but
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah,
On
that
the right.
represents a duplex outlet. We had talked about maybe making that a counter height surface. I mean, it could be a regular standard height table, but if you did a counter height, in some of my pictures, I had shown a counter height table with a couple of chairs or stool height that would work for that. Which sometimes, if you do need to get a couple people together and they want to lay out an area or plug into a outlet on the table, we can do that. A lot of the tables that have and seating that are made now are made for convenience of having outlets built in and
Mm.
convenient and not obtrusive. So what I'm looking at in that corner where that little black dot is, that one table could be something that people could either stand at or sit at a stool at counter height to converse, to have a quick meeting, put it in the back corner so that, you know, if there was a couple of people talking, it wouldn't be interfering with any of the other conversations that were going on in the middle of that open area. The other table to the left could be similar, no power because we don't have any power to get to it. But it could be the same table. Or it could be a
Those
different height
against the,
table.
are those against the back wall?
Yes,
They would be close to the back wall, yes.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to explain. There is a doorway that you see over by those two
Yeah.
tables, that door right there.
Right.
I did not take any dimensions or field measurement. All I know is that when I was there to see Sherelle, I didn't even have a tape measure with me, Dave, because it was so impromptu. But I know that there's a doorway that is there, and it's part of a wall that's near that table where the outlet is. That might be about 5 feet or 6 feet in length, but I don't have an exact measurement. So again, it's preliminary.
Can we see the other two?
the other two is here and here.
Well, you gotta just move the screen up,
Because
Cheryl.
I thought there were 5 options.
Yeah, there's 2 more below.
Oh,
Move the
gotcha.
screen up. There
Yeah.
you
I
go.
got you, thank you.
Now you see them, all the 5 drawings, those tables are still in the back of the room. The tables may not be something you really desire, but if you were going to, and I've seen it every library I've done, everybody wants that community surface. They want to be able to have at least 6 feet, if not 8 feet of space to put out a laptop and have a conversation. It may not be something you want, but I see it in almost every library. It's a big request.
So the volume of pieces that you have, is that realistic with 20 grand?
No, that's what I said earlier.
Okay.
We got to
Well,
start
yeah, but I
somewhere.
didn't know, I know, but you know, the next step may be color code what, 20,000 will potentially buy,
I
so.
cannot do that, and I'm sorry to say that until we pick out product. There's
No,
just,
I
you
know
need
that.
to look at product and see what you like, as you all agree.
Yeah. No, I
And then we
understand.
got to pick out materials, and the materials are all different grades.
Yeah,
And I'd like to help you get to that number based on how much furniture you think is the most wanted, your wish list for your first phase to hit your 20,000.
mhm.
So should I shut this and then we can look at furniture, or do you all still need to see this screen?
So in option B
Yeah,
and
okay.
C, there's serpentine, like a curved look. How do you feel about that? One shows a particular product that makes that curve. Another one just shows freestanding lounge chairs making a curve. One is a modular concept ganged together with a little table between. The other one is loose furniture with a table between. But it's the same shape, giving you a fun flow in the middle of the space. And then offset of that is a couple of chairs that are a little bit more, traditional and side by side.
Yeah, I like the curve thing because it breaks this very stark space, and makes it much more inviting.
Totally.
But
Mhm.
also there was one product that had each just around a curved chair with a side table in it, in the structure. In one of the examples.
You want to grow,
Yeah, I'm liking C. I like C, that look. But that's not a modular unit. That one is like chairs kind of set up in a kind of, and are those like, are most of your furniture pretty movable, or are they, do they just kind of sit there, or what? How are libraries working these days? Like what's popular?
well, it depends on how you feel you want to, have your patrons come in and use the space. Can they move chairs around? Yes, depending on how easily they are and how heavy or not so heavy. Some actually lounge chairs have wheels built into them. So if you want to wheel them around, that's great. But then that changes your shape and the curved, because not everybody's going to put it back into a place to make that half round.
Right.
I kind of like E.
I can't see E.
Yeah, that's nice too. Yeah.
I like the communal aspect of the circular piece at the bottom. I'm not sure what all those tiny little circles are, but I'm assuming those are movable chairs, which I think
Those
is
are
kind of nice.
ottomans. Those are
Ottomans.
ottomans.
Okay.
And they could be small chairs, very small chairs. But what that is so if anybody just wants to grab a little poof, sit on it for 20 minutes, and you don't have to waste any money on a poof, if a chair is going to work out better for you.
But with that, when you are in the cafe, which is down on the bottom,
Right.
end, right? And you want to bring a cup of coffee over here, you have to go through this seating arrangement, to get to the back, the back of the room kind of thing. So it's a
Well, there's an
traffic.
aisle on
So
the
there's
left
gonna
and the
be an
right.
aisle here.
Okay,
You have to
okay.
leave space, yeah. So right here
Okay.
is the aisle, and right here is the aisle.
So you wouldn't have to walk through the middle of that. The other thing in option D, take a look at option D. See how we have another curved bench, but that's basically going, I'm going to say east to west, where the ones in option E are going north and south. If you look at option D and you mirror image the curved bench in that one, where there are two chairs and another table, that
Yeah.
makes it a little separate sitting area that when people are walking by that space, going to the cafe and that other area off to the side, then you've got a little bit of a wall there that kind of breaks up any sound
Yeah.
or noise going by.
Yeah, I like D too.
But
I think
folks, you could combine a little bit of B and C into D. You know what I'm saying? You've got pictures of that curved area in option C that we can still bring into part of option D or E. But we could keep drawing and drawing and drawing, but there's only so many options until we get feedback.
Can I ask Sherelle a question? Budget wise, have we projected an addition to this budget for the next year?
No.
No, I didn't
We'll
think so.
talk about that.
So,
'Cause
so
we're looking at that budget.
that
first,
we
so.
need to be aware of that in making these decisions, because if we decide to spend 20 grand and only fill up half the room, that might be all we get. So we need to just be aware of it and deal with it.
And we want to do it wisely. Now, if you look at option C, and we've got 3 chairs in half a curve or a quarter of a curve, and another 3 in another quarter of a curve, and you bring those into one of the round ones in option D or E with some tables. If you look at an average price of a chair, lounge chair, which we have some in those photos that were attached earlier, you'd be somewhere around $1,100 to $1,400 a chair, based on the type of material you're putting on the chair and also the manufacturer of the chair and the discounting. Well, 20,000, given the fact that you might be looking at a $1,300 chair, you could get a pretty good bang for your buck.
Yeah.
If we really look at how we can make the space rich, filling, and inviting and exciting. As Sherelle mentioned, you want something that's going to draw people in. And you're going to do that with the shapes. You're going to do that with the style of furniture and also the color.
Linda, these
So-
drawings are great. I somehow missed them, but these are great. Thank you.
Sure, sure.
So how should, I mean, when you work with other, like, how should we? How, you
What's the
know,
next step?
yeah, what's the next step? Like, we have to pick something, I
Okay.
guess.
Yes, you do.
Do we
Should we
want to
pick
look at
one?
furniture now?
What?
Should I get rid of this screen so you can?
But do we want to get some consensus on the ones we kind of like, at least, like,
Option A is a very traditional layout, right? Option B and option C are very similar. The only difference between them is in option B, I've specifically put a certain type of chair or lounge chair in that drawing. It's kind of a funnier shape than what you see in option C to make those curved layouts. And it's only 6 seats that make a curve in option B and 6 seats that make a curve in option C. One is modular and ganged, and the other ones are freestanding chairs
are
that
there
can be
tables
ganged.
between them?
What?
Are those tables in between the chairs? Are there like?
Yes, they are.
Okay, there are 3 chairs and 2 tables in between them.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Correct. You can always add another table to one other chair side so everybody has their own table, but you don't have to, and I'm trying to save you some money. There's also a circle in the middle of those chairs and behind some of those chairs that create like an ottoman that, if you know, kind of fills the space, but again, it becomes another seat. The chairs that are in option B, actually in all the seating, made sure that we had chairs with arms. That is very important for people that are in adult area that want to be able to get in and out of a chair comfortably. So we've got option B showing you more of a gang chair and a specific look. Option C is just showing you lounge chairs that are any style lounge chair to create those arcs. And maybe you only do 6 and you don't do the other 2 that are in the lower corner or in the upper corner. You'll get a great look. And throw in an ottoman or a table that's in the center that's a circle. Option A is a lot more traditional. Option B and option C brings you up into a newer look in the 21st century. Option D just shows a very similar look of option A, but we brought in a curved bench. Option E is very similar to option A with that traditional seating in one area, but then you've got 2 curved benches. We can incorporate a combination.
So the thing is, so are those tables in D and E, do they have like somewhere where you could put your laptop if you were working or something? Like those little,
Well, in D and E, there happens to be something that looks like a,
like that?
I don't
Yeah.
know, jelly bean.
Yeah.
Those are laptop tables.
Yeah, I think we should have a couple of those in that space.
And you can do, you know, you can do a couple, like 5 or 6 of them in the space and they get moved around where everybody needs them.
Yeah, I think any kind of curve really helps to soften the area.
It does.
Totally.
So,
Because it's so
totally.
Yeah.
rectangular.
yeah, so
and so
anything
long.
rectangular, you know, that space is unattractive. So however we can enhance it. But I think we really need to look at furniture and then
Yeah.
to give you some idea, Linda, what our tastes are.
Well,
The
the
one
other,
thing that I will say is I like the 2 tables with 4 chairs, because I do think people still do want to sit at tables and do work, you know. So you know, because you had like the one with 4 and one with 2, but I think the 2 4s are better. That's just my personal opinion, but and you want like some seats where you can sit by yourself, because a lot of people just come into the library by themselves. They don't want to be too close to others, you know. And then
thus the reason why there's like 3 separate chairs in a
yeah,
curve.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they're not all looking at each other. That's the reason why I put
Yeah.
them the way that I, you know, because
Yeah, I
that's
like
kind of
the-
uncomfortable too.
Yeah, and I like with the tables in between, you can, you know, you can be with someone you know, or you can kind of like be in your own bubble
Right.
also, you know,
Right.
so.
Okay.
Now, if you wanted to open up the pictures that I sent,
Yep, I'm doing
that
it
was in
now.
the
I'm looking
other-
for the revised one, so just give me 1 second.
no problem.
Hold on. Okay, oh, there we go. Oh, this is the right one. Let's Everything going
I
well.
must say that the carpet that was put in that area is absolutely gorgeous.
That's
It
a
adds
start.
a lot of,
You should
adds a
have,
nice feeling in the space.
well, that'll help inform some of the colors, right, of the furniture too.
Of
Yeah.
course, well, you
Yeah.
know what, you're dealing with almost a neutral palette, so you can add any color in there. And
Mm.
in the pictures that I had sent over, PowerPoint
Oh,
slides that I sent over, I threw some colors onto one slide and said, hey, I think these are fun. You know, I'm not saying that you need lemon yellow, but you want to do something very sophisticated, very welcoming, a fresh look, and not everything has to be in all those colors. But if you add a few tones that bring in an exciting color that you see, as you all would, you know, hopefully agree on, is bringing in something that adds something other than the black, white, and gray. And we don't want to get too trendy either. I'm not going to send, you know, or offer trendy materials. There you go.
okay, perfect. I didn't know if you could see it or not. All right, let's,
So page 1 and 2 are copycats. I don't know what happened and why I did that, but it happened. Sorry.
that's all right. So that's one.
So
more-
those are ottomans that are in the middle of the space that you see here. They can be the shapes that you see or more of a round. These are more of an, you know, they're a little bit cut straight on some corners. You see some
You have
lounge chair,
different
you see
sizes,
occasional
yeah.
tables.
We have the smaller and the larger.
And you've got some neutral colors on the sofa and love seat, but then you have a little bit of pop of color in those ottomans.
Mm-hmm.
This unit, I did not draw into the drawings. It's very lineal. It's not that I don't like it. I've used it. That's curvilinear.
Yeah,
These become little carols.
yeah, that's the ones that I was talking about. You know, that gives you a real private little space to
Mm-hmm.
work.
And we could do similar if you want to do something like that off to one corner. This particular product, I mentioned it to Sherelle, the one pot alone is already $5,000.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
figured.
If you were
I
to buy
figured as
4,
much.
you're already over your budget.
Okay. Not a
I'm not
surprise.
saying we can't do it, but, and there's other products that are similar. But I also, again, if you need a private space, let's do one. Or find another one that's maybe a little less money and do 1 or 2. But I was also conscious of, hey, if you can't spend $4,000 or $5,000 on one carol with 2 lounge chairs and a table curved in a certain way, you do have a little bit more privacy in a way. You're not going to have that same privacy as that carol, but you
Mhm.
are separated.
So
And then
this
you
is,
put
I
a
think, what
table in
you're
the back
talking about,
corner.
Linda. This one here.
That's the one that was shown in one of the drawings.
Yeah.
Specific. So I said, hey, you can do that with that product and a table that's angular in between each chair. But then we also have lounge chairs you could do the same thing with, and you put an angular table between each of the lounge chairs, which is the next slide.
I
Oh.
like that. I like those. Those are nice.
Where am I? Hold on, sorry.
Tho- Those are not easy for older people to get out of.
I was
Okay.
going to bring that up, Betsy, because
Okay.
when you're sitting in that chair, your arms are at the same height.
Right.
So it's not a lower height like the next picture you're seeing.
Those are nice too.
Mm-hmm. These are really nice.
And you can do a curved
Chairs.
look with a curved table or angular table between each chair. And we coordinate the colors, we coordinate the legs. Right now, it's just a quick picture to show you a kind of a triangle table.
And how much is something like that?
Well, the chair itself, based on the grade of fabric that you see here, and that's kind of showing you a little bit more of a Bordeaux, or if you want to call it a garnet color. Grade 2s and grade 3s, a 2-tone, a fabric on the back and a vinyl on the seat and arm. That chair would probably come out around $1,100. The table, probably about 200, maybe 3. And that would be a laminate table. Right now, the chair shows wood legs. You can get a metal leg. That chair also comes with 2 casters on the front and 2 wood legs on the back. So if you do want to move them, there are 2 wheels that would be on the front. which makes it easier for someone to move around. But how much do you want them to move the chairs?
So Linda, just a quick question, with the grades, is there a way to make this a little less? So that we can get more?
The lowest grade in most manufacturers are going to be a grade A, a grade 1. Some start out with a grade B, or they start out with a grade 2. So
Okay.
we can't go any lower than that.
And that cost is that the 1,100 you mentioned?
Yeah, well, I've sold this chair a ton of times, so yeah, I know it's coming in around 1,100 in a vinyl seat and a grade 2 back, fabric back.
And
Now,
the wipeable fabric that we discussed, that we can wipe it, wipe it
It's
down?
vinyl.
Okay,
Yep,
okay.
yep. I chose to put a fabric on the back because you can get more patterns, but that fabric would be more like a Krypton. You can't kill it. It's just not the same material as a vinyl. It feels like a fabric, but the way it's woven and the materials that are inherent to it is made as a kind of a plastic thread that creates a pattern. In the next slide, the same thing. The
No,
thing
but-
is, these are a silicone
is.
material and these are grade 10 with a grade 3 vinyl. So you in a higher grade are going to spend a little more money, but you can add pattern in certain areas on the chair. And you see in the lower picture on the right, there's a handle on the back and there are casters on the front. That chair can be moved. You can use the handle to move it if you think it's necessary. And maybe you think it's necessary for 2 chairs in the whole space and everything else doesn't need casters.
We
You can
already
mix and
have
match.
pattern in the carpet. It would seem to me to make best to keep it's simple, right? In terms of patterns on the
Well,
chairs.
I'm going to say from the design point of view, you want to bring in some fabric that has a pattern on it. Krypton material, not beautiful wool material. Because a lot of times pattern is going to hide a lot of marks. When somebody's got a pen or a marker, and we all know it can happen, obviously you're not going to buy a white fabric, but with a material, sometimes a pattern, a lot of times you will not see marks because there's a pattern on the chair. And there's vinyls that have patterns, again, cleanable, easy, and so on. It's
What
just a
about
matter of
texture?
narrowing it down.
Would texture do the same thing?
Totally,
Okay.
totally. Another type of a lounge chair, simple, easy. It has arms, very comfortable, wood legs. And you could bring that in with a couple other types of chairs. You know, you want to keep some styles that are look kind of consistent. But a couple of chairs off to the side with a group.
What's the price range of those? Around 500 or?
No, those are more.
More?
Those, yeah. That chair is probably closer to 12.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you're not going to get a lounge chair under $900. If you did, you're not buying the right product. And
Yeah.
I don't want you to waste your money on a lounge chair that's less than that. And the one thing I failed to mention is the 2 slides above, the one that had the green fabric and the one that had the burgundy-ish color, those are made by Lesro. They're in Bloomfield, Connecticut. So that's a product that I love to sell, put it in a lot of libraries, a lot of schools. They have modular chairs as well, but they're in Bloomfield. It costs me very little to bring those, pick those up for freight and bring them down to Norwalk.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for freight because it's still right in our neighborhood.
And
I
now
just
what
wanna
kind
do
of lifespan do these objects have?
All these
Given-
chairs have warranties, and every one is going to be slightly different, but I'm going to give you an overall. Anything that we sell, the majority of the products that we sell, they say lifetime, but there are caveats. And that being is the fabric will be guaranteed 1 year to 2 years. Every mill that makes a fabric for anything that's to do with a commercial space is going to guarantee it for at least a year, maybe 2. But the thing is, there is no control over who is sitting on those pieces of furniture with their fabrics, or who's stabbing it, or who's ripping it, or who's pulling at it. So there's no, after a couple years, there's no guarantee on the fabric.
Yeah, I'm
You've
not
gotta-
asking that. I'm asking with normal wear and tear, what's the normal lifespan of an object like this? Are we looking at 10 years, 15 years, 5 years? How often do you replace this furniture?
You know what it is? It's going to be based on the materials. So given the times that I've sold these pieces, let me put it this way, I've been selling these things for a long time. I mean, I have very rarely ever had to replace something unless they got tired of the color.
Okay.
Or they didn't need it anymore. Yeah, I mean, I run into this very little where somebody wants to, change it out after 10 years. I mean, mostly because of budgets. It's going to last a long time. It's commercially made. There are in the industry, you have to meet a certain criteria to be able to offer it to a commercial space or a public space.
I just want to do a time check. We probably, because we have the rest of our agenda as well. So
Oh, goodness, I'm sorry.
no, that's
Yes.
okay. This is like really cool and fun, but I think maybe we might have to get a smaller committee to work with Sherelle and you on really picking, because there's so much here. I think it's going to be hard to really narrow things down to, I mean, we can narrow things down, but not like fully today. So
Now, there's a lot of, maybe wish ideas that I put into this, but I want you to know that was a fun thing that I put in there because of the hats.
Yeah.
And Norwalk, known for all their hat factories,
Mm.
I thought it was kind of cool to show that tree and hang some hats on it. But anyway, it's library shelving.
Oh, that's
cool.
great.
That
Yeah,
is-
that's neat.
But if you scroll back up a couple slides, that's the nook. Those are separate little meeting spaces. And it's all acoustical, has a light in it, has a whiteboard. You don't have to have a whiteboard. If you go to the next slide below, the next one after this slide, you actually see it in open space. Go back up one, there you go. You could see how you can see out. And it gives you the acoustics of keeping a quieter conversation in. You're open and exposed to the environment, but at the same time, you're having a conversation that a lot of people are not going to hear you. It's not a
And-
closed-in pod. But
And
again,
what's the
something,
price?
if you
What's the
wanted in the,
price range?
that's,
Yeah, what's the
that
price range?
together is going to be around $6,000. And you know what, actually, you might be more like 4 to 6 because it depends on the materials. And then if you don't have the whiteboard and you just pop it out and you can see through to the back wall, and I'm thinking if it was to go up against your back wall, hey, that's an attractive piece.
It breaks up the space, it
Doesn't
breaks
it?
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And we have this one already
yeah,
from the ARPA funds.
And
So,
these, go back down. Oh, scroll down. There's one that looks like a planter. If you
oh,
scroll
that
down
one's
2 more
like-
slides, there's a woman in the next slide down. She's actually plugged into a device for power. Now that would have to get connected to a wall, but that's just showing you something that if you needed a power unit somewhere near, I know in your space you don't have as many outlets to reach to, but that's just showing another unique piece because they also make planters that are part of the aesthetics. If you go up 2 more slides, I love the one with the planter in the bookcase. I love it. What a great separation. I can't give you the price on that, but it's not outrageous. I know that. And you can have, basically display your books on either side. And it creates a divider.
those are
Again,
nice.
that could be a phase 2.
Yeah, those are really nice things for phase 2. Yeah, for sure.
And then there was some tables. These are little stools. Love the little demi-back stools. The white ones are positively the hottest thing in the world. Everybody loves the white ones. But if you scroll up 1 more slide or 2, you're going to see what I call those community tables that I was suggesting near the back of the room, where you could put power in the top of the table and run the power cord down the leg into an outlet in the wall. The other one above that picture shows you what I call a full panel end. Yes, see how it's a full panel end? It's going to cost a lot more money because of the amount of material. But the one that has a tapered leg, it's kind of nice, kind of interesting. You can get counter height and you can get bar height. And you just do a demi-back stool around it. Makes it fun, easy. And you have a table that works and people can stand at it and work at it. Another look, lounge chairs. In any shape.
No arms, though.
Well, in this case, some of
Okay.
them I have shown with arms
Arm.
side by side.
Hmm.
And then there was the freestanding chairs that have arms, obviously on both sides that you can do.
Yeah, we don't have to have arms for us old people on every chair. but we
I'm
have
thinking
to
the
have
same thing, totally.
That,
Mhm.
you know, that we have to have some. Right, Ralph?
You bet.
Okay.
If you took the chair that's got the green fabric on it with
Mhm.
arms and you put it with the slide that was down a little lower, that was more of a serpentine, that didn't have an arm between every seat, if you scroll down a couple more. One
That
more.
way.
Yep. You've got
Mhm.
arms on the two ends, but the one person sitting in the middle doesn't have an arm. That's okay.
Right.
You can see how in that case, they've done two-tone fabrics. And I would definitely suggest doing something two-tone. That adds interest. You don't have to do it on every piece. You just do it on a few. But the best bang for your buck would be this particular chair called the Ravina Lounge, with or without casters, and a little table between. A couple other freestanding pieces, or we do that kind of curved bench that we showed earlier in the, the half circle.
Yeah.
And maybe a small standing height community table up in the back corner. You could probably get a lot in that space based on these kind of pieces, based on what I know about pricing. I can't promise everything, but I'm not showing you things that you're only going to buy 4 pieces. And then you're done with your money and you can't do anything for a while.
What do you guys think of this chair?
I like the design.
I do too.
Has a very clean look about it.
I like it. I like that chair.
Mm-hmm.
It
You like the
looks-
color. I really like that
Yep.
color. But
It looks comfortable.
Very comfortable.
But you know, you need to see it with the other combinations. That's the whole
Mhm.
trick, right,
Yeah.
Linda?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, and by the way, the picture that you have up right now, see off to the lower right? See those poofs around the table?
Mhm.
Those are kind of fun if you wanted to bring something something like that up to a kind of a shared work area.
is that
And maybe
black
it's
thing
not
a handle?
appropriate.
That black thing is a handle, right? A full handle?
Yes,
yeah,
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, so
Yeah, so maybe we get started with a few of those chairs and, some of the,
I think you do need to, get 2 or 3 people to come
yeah,
up and work with Linda and come up
I
with
think
a,
Cindy's crew can
proposal.
work with her because they know how people are using the space. So I'd like to start with Cindy's crew and just see, what they come up with and then bring it back to the board.
I think it would be good to have a couple of, we want to get it done. And
course
if
we
you
wanna
have
get it done,
everybody
for
in
sure.
one group, it can get done faster than you present something and we don't like it, and then we go back to the drawing board. So,
Well,
we're anxious to get something.
I'm anxious to work with you, and if you're going to do a sub team, perfect. I like that idea as well. And anything that we pick out or select, obviously can go to you all, and put your blessing on it or make a change to it. But one of the things is that I want to be comfortable. We're going to put a lot of work out here to do what we need to do. I just want to know if I can get you the layout that you like with the amount of chairs we could do for the max, for 20. I just want to know, will I be able to get the job?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's fair.
yeah,
And
that, I mean, that
And they're on
sounds,
the state contract, so,
That's
a
right.
little, yeah, they're on the state contract, so that should be,
yeah, I think we should move forward.
for sure.
The contract that we would use would be the Connecticut Library Consortium contract. That means that the products that I've shown you today are all on the CLC. We would use the discounting that has been part of their contracts with each of the different manufacturers. What I don't want to do is I don't want to go all over the place having so many different manufacturers. But if we're narrowing it down to certain chairs, certain tables, a couple of, neat pieces, we can get a good discount on that. And all of that does include delivery and installation by Robert Lord Company. And once we get product ordered, all the materials are on reserve. We reserve them for you. Once the furniture order goes in, then all that furniture is manufactured, depending on lead times, which vary, of course. I'm going to say right now, a lot of these manufacturers are running about 7 to 8 weeks to ship. Like I said, the Lesro product that's made in Bloomfield, phenomenal, but we don't have to worry about shipping anything because we just pick it up in their facility. If you wanted to go to Lesro and see the furniture at Lesro in Bloomfield, happy to show you. We took some clients from a couple of different schools recently and libraries of those schools. They went into Lesro and they were like, that's it. That's what we want to buy. Because they saw the way it was manufactured. It's a steel frame underneath, and the amount of webbing and the amount of cross stitching for the seats and the cushion, again, all contract grade, blows your mind. It's just beautiful for the price that it is. So we get a good discount. So,
Thank you so much,
I-
Linda. We
so-
really appreciate you coming.
I know you have other work to do. So I'm going to let you guys get back to that. And I guess the next step would be is let me know whoever is going to be on the committee. We go back to our options of our layouts and we start narrowing down the chairs and fabrics, materials.
Sounds
I'm
good.
excited.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
sounds great. Thank you so much for your
Thank you
time and
so
showing
much.
us all that.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good
And nice
night.
meeting you.
All right.
Good
Take care.
night.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
All right.
Okay,
I have some questions on this project. First of all, do we have to get 3 bids with this
I
money?
don't think with this one because they are on the state contract, but I will, because I don't think we had to do this.
That's number one. We gotta find out that we're doing, and I think there's a limit of under a certain amount, you don't have to get 3 bids. And we might be under that, but we need to know that, whether or not we can just work with her or we gotta go through the process of getting 3 bids. Yeah,
Mhm.
and, I think it will expedite the process if, we have a couple of board members working with staff to understand, that way, we understand each other, the staff educates us to the need, and it will move things along quicker. And the other piece is 20 grand is not gonna do it, So are we planning or has there been any discussion about additional money for this project in the upcoming budget?
We have not, only because we need to come in with, we can't really come in with big requests for the next year per the order.
Yeah, well, that's that, and then there's another option is that the foundation could participate. So these are just concepts that I wanted to throw out there that we can think about.
I mean, but she's saying if a chair is 1,100, I mean, we could, I think we can get pretty close to something,
Even with the discounted rate, she would be able to, once we, start to narrow things down with the discounted rates that we get from the state, I think, but it was great, if the board wants to help or foundation wants to help, that's fine too.
Well, it's just, I'm trying to look at the big picture
For
here
sure.
because, we've got a delay in our project and we're trying to puff up both libraries. And so I'm just throwing that out to be out there for discussion if we need to. But with planning our request for the capital budget, we got to decide whether we want to do that or something else. It's got to be part of that discussion.
For sure.
Because
But I also think that
I
part-
don't think 20 grand is gonna buy what you think it's gonna buy, because as I said, I'm just in the middle of 6
Yeah.
months of furniture shopping. Yeah,
So why don't we just, I mean, she knows our number and she, why don't we
Yeah.
just give her that for now and then
Yeah.
see what we get? And then kind of make a call after that, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
And
and
so,
can we please get those
Yep,
schematic?
the slides, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Do
Yeah.
we
was
have to spend this by the end of the year?
No,
No,
Okay.
but when you don't spend it and you go back to ask for more, you get slapped down.
yeah,
Right. So it seems to me that the timing is also part of this, right?
Right, right.
yeah, I think it was from, not last year's capital budget, but the year before's capital
But
budget.
don't
so-
we have until June of next
so
year?
this
So
was from,
I
I
think
think
it'd be
last
fine.
year we got
I don't
funded.
think we have a problem with that.
It wasn't last year. it was
Because the
year
fiscal
before.
year is June 30th. Am I correct, Cheryl?
Yes,
I
Yeah.
mean, July 1st. It starts on July
July
1st of
first,
next
yeah,
year,
and
right?
30th.
So it was the
Right.
same time as the carpet, so, well, that we got.
So I think we have time, but we just can't sit on it, but we have to
No.
get busy with it.
I think this is a good start. I love their product. She knows what she's doing. So I
Yeah,
think
she's
this is a great-
excellent. She's
yeah,
very
it's a
impressive.
great
Yeah.
start. I'm sorry that I had to go through others, but they just weren't working for, what we needed, but I think she's the right person.
Yeah, I think she's very good.
Mhm. She's
And
very
she
good.
explained everything well.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, I hate to be a pain in the butt, but it's been a long day. Could we move on?
Yes, ma'am,
yeah,
please.
but I
Okay,
think we do
thank
need
you.
to, who do we have any volunteers to work with?
I'm interested.
Mhm. I would like to too.
Okay, that's great, Patsy and Janie. All right, let's move on. So quickly, I have a couple of things on my report. As you may recall from last month's meeting, we were talking about the fact that the city looked like it was, well, it appeared that the city was going to take some spaces over at 3 Belden, the one that were just adjacent to the main library, for a staging area for the Wall Street Reno. So I've talked to and Patsy also, the city, and they are working to find a new place for those materials to go. They know that that's a very important space for us, and it won't, it will make like connectivity almost impossible. So they are working on finding an alternative space. Hopefully we'll have more news at the next meeting on
Yeah,
that.
I have a little more input because I've talked to him on the last few days.
Okay.
They're talking with the Eagles, and there's possibility that depending on what the needs are and how much space, that we have spots there that don't get used much. We might trade spots of what we have in the Eagles and get all of the Belden Avenue spots. So they were supposed to meet this week and it got postponed until next week. But anyway, they know it's a serious problem for us and they're responding well to it for us, which is good news.
And so we also talked to them about the fact that Jess is no longer with us, and who is going to be our contact over in the city for moving renovation plans forward. And so for now, Chief of Staff Tom Livingston is going to be our main point of contact on the project, and Alan Lowe has all the materials for the RFP, and the next step is to get a meeting with them and Sherelle and us. So that is And then the third thing is that we talked last time about the charter revision, the process that has been launched. And I've asked Laurel if she could chair the governance committee for this process. And that would just basically involve convening the governance committee together to look at our current city charter and everything that's related to the library, and seeing if we're, if it is actually how we are being governed by the city, if it's actually correct, and if it is what the board feels is the best for the library too. So thank you, Laurel, for so okay, so that's me. That was
Yeah.
my
Can I add something on that?
Yeah,
As
sure.
I had chaired the last charter revision, so
Oh,
I just want to make sure that you know when this subject is going to come up for public discussion, that we don't miss it. And because the attorney running the project has specific topics for each meeting. So you
okay.
need to find out where this discussion fits in.
Okay.
And they're moving rapidly, so you need to do that right away. And I don't know the answer. I haven't looked at it.
Okay. Thanks, Patsy, and we'd love to have your kind of experience on the
Yeah,
government as
yeah,
well.
well, I don't think it'll be helpful for me to be out front on this, as being the past chairman. So,
Yeah. But
yeah, I
certainly
just-
your advice,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, right. But you gotta really find out what the deal is, because otherwise we can miss our opportunity.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Cheryl.
Okay. Let me just get rid of this screen. Can you see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate when it does, this. It did it too, but that's okay. Okay, so first on the agenda is the capital budget projects, the sliding door. So if you remember, this is what it looks like. They were out yesterday to measure. They found the contractor. So it's moving right along. So they came out to measure. I just have to find out exactly when they will start. But I'm, proud to say that it's moving along. And this project, I believe, we were budgeted, it was 16,000. This is the original estimate from a few years ago, which was 12,700, but it's been a few years, so for now it's 16. Yep, 16,000. So we are, we're good. Any questions? Okay.
No, that's great.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll just clean up that area and give it a,
A better look.
oh my
More
gosh.
better
yes.
look.
Yes, and so the security system, it was a 2-year project. We upgraded the alarm system last fiscal year. The main library was done, and this fiscal year, the Sono library will be completed. Neil is estimating, I would just say the beginning of December, that project should be completed. So we're switching companies and updating the equipment.
Okay.
Landscaping and plowing. As you know, during the rollover system, $15,000 went into buildings and grounds. And this money, will be allotted by the city, as continuous. So we will have an additional 15,000 in our budget, to take care of grounds. And what that means is, Seaman Construction will plow both of the parking lots, and the custodians will continue to shovel the sidewalks. As far as lawn care, Chisholm Landscaping will provide the spring cleanup, which will attend to the plants, the flower beds. They will clean the lawns. get rid of debris and, trim plantings as needed. And what's great about that is our guys are not, they don't have the green thumb, so it'll be great to have, somebody come over, they can help out with the rose garden and just kind of know when to prune them, how to prune them, so that they come back. They'll do the weekly lawn maintenance and our guys can, help, in between if needed. They'll cut and edge the grass. They do a fall cleanup and a spring cleanup. And they would attend to the flower beds, clean, the lawn of, all organic material. They usually begin in April and for spring, and then they end in October for fall. So I've been, speaking with Neil so that hopefully we can get them to begin this month before it snows, just to clean up and, if we need to add, the rose bushes or, things back, we can do that. And, they will also do the basic trimming of shrubs, as needed. I am currently in the process of understanding who will do the tree trimming because I think that is extremely important to have someone who knows how to care for trees and do the tree trimming, to assess the health and also to keep the branches, from, going on the building.
Cheryl, is the 15,000 for both the snow and the lawn care
Yes.
total? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
all right.
everything that I mentioned is in, because I did ask for a scope of work, and so
Yeah.
everything that I mentioned will be,
Okay.
yeah.
Under that,
And
okay,
for
at both buildings,
At
right?
both buildings, correct.
that's tight, but doable. Better than what we got now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we had someone who really, was really good with the lawn care and that sort of thing. But I think this is a good alternative, and we definitely want to thank the mayor, for allotting this in our budget.
Thank you so much for following up on that. I think that's just going to be a really good and predictable solution.
I think so. And we have patrons who really care about, our grounds. And so, sometimes they come and express their opinions, but it's okay. It makes me feel good that they really care about their library. And so finally, the book drop. We all remember what it looks like. It's sort of been a staple, a piece of furniture at the main library, in the back. So, it did come, let's see, Parking Authority contracted, for us to have a slab, put on the existing concrete to fit the dimensions of the book drop. And they, did a curve here so that when they take the books out, it's not like a steep drop. Something that would be like this over here. So they'll, take it out
Oh,
and
yeah.
bring it around and take it.
Hey, this is so good.
Yeah. So it'll be great. I think our patrons will love this, especially when the weather is bad. They don't feel like getting out. They just drive up, drop their books. And so this just gives you, a distant view. And this one here gives you more of a proximal view. So, we did have they were so good. They had the cones out and it was windy that day. And so the cones sort of put some dents, but they came and fixed that right away. So now the next step is, Neil's guys are going to, install the book drop. So I don't know how long we have to wait for the concrete to dry, but, we're on our way. And this also, we used the money, we had about $1,003, left over in the book drop budget. So we used that. So now that budget is zeroed out. That was the capital project. So, that's zeroed out right now. And so that's the end of that report, but I do have new business, if that's okay.
Sure.
And so basically it's just voting, on the 2025 library board meeting calendar. And I sent the dates. Typically we don't have the August meeting. So, I just need you to approve.
It's the typical Thursday, all of
That's
these.
the second Thursday, correct?
Motion to approve.
Well, let
Thanks,
me make a
Laura.
motion. Oh, would somebody like to make a motion to approve? Oh, sorry, Laura.
I just did that.
Sorry,
Was
I
I
thought
not
you-
supposed to do that?
That's a second, but I have a question on the motion. Are we gonna have some in-person meetings? Or are we gonna exist on Zoom?
Well, Moyna and I did talk about that, so, you guys will just have to let me know when you're ready.
Should we plan for the January meeting?
I think that's fair.
Okay, let's plan for the January meeting.
Well, are we having we're having a December, I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
well-
if January, if we get snow, the more in the winter,
Okay,
it's-
well, we can try for December if everybody's fine with that. I was just giving ourselves a month. I don't know why, but
I thought that was great. I think starting in January is fine. I mean, if your heart is set on December, that's okay, but I think starting in January would be best.
Yeah, I think starting off New Year would be best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, let's start in January and then I think maybe we can do every other meeting in person for starting next year.
Okay, so I would second the motion then.
Mhm. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mhm.
I have one matter of old business. I did want to let you all know that we are because Geraldo's not here, and that we're going to meet with Sharon and Sabrina at purchasing and business development to talk about moving the library cafe project forward. So
Okay.
And I think that's Wednesday, this coming Wednesday.
20th,
it's the
Yeah.
20th. Yeah.
11 o'clock.
I
So
have
they're
a
gonna change it
question.
to 1, I think,
Go
but
to 1, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you'll see that in email.
Yeah,
So I have a question on the budget hearings. What's the schedule and what are we talking about? We're
So I
asking for
sent
the
the,
budget.
the schedule in an email. So Lamont and, our team met today just to go over, the budget because, we have a new finance director and, he does things a little differently. And so, which is a good thing. Everybody comes in and they do things their way. And so, we met today, so we have to have our operating budget in by the 27th. So, supervisors and I will meet, because we do want to give the, I think I sent to the executive board, I don't know if I was told or not to advance it to the full board, but we would like to give the part-time staff raises, only because I know last time, Chris tasked me with giving raises, I believe it was 2010 or 2011, but we could only, with the budget, we could only give the library assistants and the library clerks raises. When we look at state and when we look across the country, our librarians are at least $7 to $8 below scale. The other issue is that, what is it?
Sherelle, should we talk about this at the next meeting, or do you have time to do that?
I don't-
or-
I don't think you have time. They're in the middle of starting already. That's why I
And
brought it
we
up.
can always call a special meeting as
Yeah.
if needed. But as I was saying, minimum wage is going up. And so minimum wage is near what some of our part-timers are making. So, that's something that we have to consider as well. So once, we get the budget kind of massage it, I'll send it along. Because we have to move very quickly. So, I'll send it along and just to make sure, everyone has input. And if we need to call a special meeting, I did ask for money, last year, if we needed to have special meetings, we can.
But also the capital budget, and my understanding, they were gonna discuss the both almost
We're gonna do them
simultaneous.
together, correct? So no
Yeah,
more.
Yeah, so we need to know when your schedule is, and we need to have some lead time to, when do you have to present your requests?
So if we go to the budget that I did send to give me 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry. There's too many screens open.
I didn't see any dates. I have it, but I don't see
Oh.
any dates on it.
No, they're definitely there. Give me 1 second.
I think I saw them.
Yeah. hold on.
Dates?
Mhm.
They have the dates that we go before, when we have to have the budget in, when we start, to meet, with the finance director. And, hold on 1 second, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to close. Oh, wait, no, I don't want to close that screen.
I have
Apologize, I
that.
didn't commit it to memory, so give me 1 second. Let me close
Well,
this one. Okay, let me find that email that I sent.
It says, December 5th to December 20th, the finance department meets with each city department. So starting December 5th, but we don't know what date the library.
Oh, we haven't
Right.
gotten that yet, so as soon as I get it, I will send it along.
But in the meantime, who's making a decision of what we're gonna ask for
So we had, well, supervisors and I met, a couple of weeks ago, we met with Lamont today, just to see, what we're asking for. So I'll do a follow-up meeting with them, and then we speak to Lamont, because Lamont is looking at the budget as one budget for community services, and not, separate for the library. But what I will do is once, we get that together, hopefully by next, I'm gonna give myself time, maybe by next Wednesday, I can send it to the board, and if Moina, you choose to call a special meeting, you could do that.
Okay.
And so basically, we don't have any preliminary input to what you're asking for. Is
We're
that
not asking for any increases as yet, only, but what
talking about capital budget? I'm talking
capital
about,
budget, nobody really asked for anything at this point. Lori and I had discussed perhaps now that the redevelopment office is closed, maybe asking again for the business center.
yeah,
So
I was hoping we were gonna ask for that because I
yeah,
think it would be a great enhancement.
yep. So she and I talked about that. So I just have to meet with, like I said, we met with Lamont today, and then we'll meet again on Monday.
Okay, and on that, I understand that the city has hired a consultant to review every city building for ADA compliance.
Yep, ours is on Monday. So they'll start at the main library and then
Okay.
head over to,
And so there's the issue of the doorknobs not being in compliance. And so is that being brought up?
we will know once we get the report. So they're coming in and they'll do the assessment. So they're bringing in their own consultants along with Bill, I hope I say his last name right, Natuk, our ADA coordinator. So they'll come in and they'll do their assessment, and then they'll create a report.
Well, wait, are you planning to point that out to them?
I will,
Thank you.
because yeah, we've asked for that, how many years? And we've mentioned
3.
for how many years, correct?
So I guess, so next step, Sherelle, you'll pass along the budget to the board, your budget that you've kind of come up with Lamont and your managers. You'll pass it to the board, and then we can have a special meeting if need be.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. So hopefully we'll be seeing that in about a week, you said?
I'm hoping, yeah, I would love to get it to you like Tuesday, but I just don't think that's realistic. I think Wednesday, Thursday, we can try to get you something preliminary.
Okay, and I will be in touch about it too.
Yep. Sounds
Okay,
good.
great. Okay, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Janie, Laurel seconds, all in favor.
Aye.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned. See you over in the next meeting.
Okey dokes, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Keep them in.